Hi there. So I am going to do a product review of this 17.3 inch portable monitor. I have to say that it's by a company called Uperfect. I have to also give you the caveat that they sent this to me for free. So I've not bought this, I've not paid for it. Having said that, I'm still going to do, in my opinion, an honest review, looking at the monitor. If it's got bad points, I'll point them out. If it's got good points, I'll point those out too. So hopefully this will be a reasonable review. So here's the package itself. As you can see, it's still sealed, so let's see if we can crack it open. Get all this stuff off. There. Let's see what we have. Yeah. So it's nicely packaged. Some foam packaging in the lid. The monitor itself. Let's get this open. So while I'm doing this, I have to say, I originally had a smaller Uperfect monitor bought from Amazon. I didn't like it. It had some buzzing noise, so there's some issues with it. And obviously my review on Amazon was not that favourable. And that's when Uperfect got in touch and said, we're very sorry, we'll send you this as a replacement. And see what you think. So what we have in the package, obviously the monitor itself, we have an full-size HDMI to Mini-HDMI cable there, USB-C, USB-C, this will be a video and power cable. Then we have finally a USB-A to USB-C cable in the package. Now what this looks like, it might be a power supply. I have to say I've had power supplies before from these types of monitors that simply don't work. Yeah, so it says it's quick charge 3, so I'll test this separately and add to whether it works or not. I've had one in the past that simply was dead on arrival, but if it does work, it's quite a nice little portable charger. And then user manual for the monitor. So let's put that to the side and this to the side. So the first thing to do is check the monitor itself. So it's got its own case, that's very nice. We see on the back we have mounts for VESA. So if you want to mount this on an arm or some kind of stand, then we can do that. The display itself, that looks quite nice. There's no protective film, but it's a reasonably matte display, so it's not a glossy, shiny display, which in my opinion is good if you're outside. You don't want lots of reflections, and it feels like it is, yeah, it's a magnetic case. So usually for the purpose of this, I'll hazard a guess that we flip this over. Turn it your way so you can see it. I can already see it. Not sure the best way of setting up the stand. The instructions probably tell me how to do that better. So yeah, that is the start of it. So on this side we have everything. So I'll try and see what we've got here. So we've got a wheel for menu settings. There's a Mini-HD socket and then 2 Type-C USB sockets. Obviously you can see that in there. It's a bit tricky for me to see in the one there. And a headphone socket as well, 3.5mm jack. So it looks like the bottom USB-C socket is for power and presumably as well as video. The one above just says Type-C, so I don't know if that will take power or not. But let us find out. Right, so let's pause the video. Okay, So I guess next thing to do is power it up, see if the thing works. So let's do it towards the camera. So here we go. So there is the display, and I shall check it with the correct cable. So we have got our USB to USB-C, and for the moment what I'm going to do is power it using the power supply that it came with, and I've got a Amazon Fire Stick. I'll plug that in to the HDMI, just as a nice, easy, quick way of testing the USB-C to USB-C didn't work. This is USB-A. So open up package number 2 and check that out. Okie doke. So let's see how this all behaves. Plugs it. So the power supply's got no LEDs on it, so I can't tell if it is alive or dead. So we'll stick that in, and it is live. I can see that the screen's now going to power up. Now this may or may not come out nicely. Okay, so it powers up, lovely jubbly. And then the next thing we shall do is take this Amazon Fire Stick and plug it into the Mini-HDMI. And which controller should it be? There we go. Okay. So it comes on okay. There's no annoying buzz, so that's a positive sign. And then we've got our rocker wheel. Now I'm just exploring this. I have absolutely no idea. I've not looked at the menu system. We can switch that on. Okay, so we can get into the menu system. And what's probably sensible for me to do now is turn the camera around so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so let's have a little fiddle with the menu system and see what's what. So we can play with the picture. Oops. So let's see if we can select that. So we've got the backlight, which by default looks like it's set to 100%, which is not the best. It's a bit too strong in my opinion. So turn that down a bit. And then we've got the brightness. I usually like the brightness down a little bit and the contrast up a bit, so let's stick that. So it's nice and easy to select. The button wheel is not difficult to press. You don't need to use your fingernail that I've experienced in other monitors. Sharpness, absolutely no idea what kind of difference that makes. Yeah, so we can make it a bit blurry, which is not nice, or we can make it a lot sharper. I suppose it does what it says. And then how do we get back? That's a good question. Okay, it's not that easy for me to see how to get back. The wheel only has left, up and down, and then select and okay, maybe this is where I need to look at the manual. There are no other buttons, and the wheel doesn't seem to go forward or backwards. Okay, so it times out. Okay, so we've got the ability to adjust the position, clock timing and so on. Color temperatures, color effects, we can muck about with that. So we've got various different features under advanced. we can select whether we're going to have HDMI or whatever. And then audio settings, obviously volume and mute, select audio source, and okay, other stuff. So nothing terribly exciting, but the display itself seems to be reasonably good, seems to be reasonably uniform. The next step is to power it off a mobile phone and see how it behaves in that. So let's pause there and see if the mobile phone that I have is capable of powering it and how it appears. Okay, so the next step is, let's see if we can power the monitor happily. I'm going to use my MacBook, so I shall unplug the HDMI, unplug the power supply, and let's see if we can do it all from the Mac. So stick that in there, and then the USB-C cable goes in. Now the big question is, does it matter which one it goes into? I'll put in the power one just to see if that will work. So it's getting power. Does it also get signal? No. Right, so first thing is that USB socket is only power, which is a bit of a shame. I would like it to be both USB sockets can do power and video. Let's see if the top one, yep, so the top one works fine. So at least we know we can do that. So just for a laugh, just for the heck of it, let's bring up Safari, drag it across. You can see that the colour is reasonably good actually. I have got an external monitor where the Mac drives the monitor, but the colour's not that great, it's a bit washed out. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So the long and short of it is, the monitor's pretty decent. The menu system I need to figure out a little bit more. Of course, this is what happens when you don't bother reading the manual and you just try and work it out yourself. But my first impressions, it's got a nice display. The colour seems to be pretty decent. I do like the matte finish as opposed to the glossy finish that I've seen on other monitors. It's a good size. It's a bit big for maybe travel, but certainly for kicking about the house as an external display, yeah, it's nice. It works nicely with the HDMI output. It's a shame that the two USB-C inputs are not identical, so it does matter which one you use, which one you plug your display into. So obviously the bottom one is purely for power, the top one is for power as well as video. And then the casing itself is quite nice. Obviously we can set it to a higher or lower angle, but the more important aspect is the simple fact that when you're not using the display, the case is quite nice for protecting. It seems to be a bit floppy, but maybe the magnets inside could be a bit stronger. But the important part is that it helps to protect the display from getting mangled when it's in your bag, getting carted around to wherever. The actual construction, it's maybe not quite as premium as I would like. So the construction itself, obviously there are perfectly visible. Let's see if we can get that on the image. A bit difficult to see maybe. I can just about, not quite, but it is held together with screws. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. It does mean that if you need to open it up for some reason, it's just a simple case of using a screwdriver. So it's not like your premium devices that are sealed shut. So it is possible to open it and guddle about inside if needs be, but it also means you've got a bit of a a ridge between the casing of the display and the actual display itself, but that's a minor point. It's not that big a deal. I do see on the control side there's a slot. I don't know if the video can pick, yeah, the video can just about pick it up. This slot here, which I'm guessing is for audio output. I would not expect the audio quality to be anything to shout home about. Given the size of the device, etc., you're not going to get fantastic audio out of these things, but then that is as I would expect. And then an attention sticker saying something, wall-mounted screw length cannot exceed 4mm. So I guess the bottom line is there, don't use big long screws because they will puncture through your display and you will maybe not be quite so happy about that. So bottom line is, yeah, it's a nice monitor. Is it worth the money? Yeah, it probably is. If I wouldn't, you know, as I said at the start, I was given this as a gift for having a defective monitor. But I think, I can't remember exactly what these retail for on Amazon, somewhere between £150 to £200. And I think that's reasonable value for what it is. As I say, it's maybe a little bit big for travel, but other than that, it's a nice monitor, a lot better than the one that it is replacing. So with that, I shall finish my my chat. Thank you for watching, and hope you found the video useful.